Hello everyone, I am Aasnaya and you're watching The Aasnaya Show. And I'm so happy to announce that we have Navneeth Vallabh with us, who has been working in the industry of healing from last many years. I know we both started our journey together and he is much more senior than me. So I'm so happy to invite him. He has helped so many women across the world, not just India, but the world. He has been working specifically that how women can get healed with different issues of their physical body, mental body, and even relationships. He's the expert, and I know every girl would like to have a therapist like him who can really guide at the right time, and a friend like Navneet. I'm really lucky to have him as a friend in my life, as well as a very loving coordination with him so that we can do mind-blowing work ahead in healing industry as well as the other industry. So I invite Navneeth Vallabh. Hi Navneeth, how are you?
I'm excellent, Asking. And thank you for the lovely introduction. And I guess it's always great to meet you and talk to you. And I guess you're always an inspiration. And I believe that with your words, with your actions, it's always, you always motivate and obviously not only others, but also I feel very happy to connect you always every time we interacted, every time we did something amazing together. So
So
it's I'm
true.
really happy to be in your show today, and probably this brainstorming interaction might give several answers in life today, I guess, in during the COVID times, what we are all facing.
So Navneet, everybody is interested to know that what is your journey and how did you choose? You know, you already did so much in this healing industry, but then you chose to get into past life regression. What was the reason and how is your journey? And the whole stage is for you now.
So if I look back, thank you so much. So if I look back, I started my healing journey at a very young age, probably at the age of 17 or 18 or so. I mean, I started very young, and parallelly, yes, I was into psychology and my academic this thing. So it was going on and on, but my healing journey began at a very early age, and probably I have achieved more than my age. Probably I've worked with people from diverse walks of life, from diverse religions, diverse backgrounds, and probably every experience has helped me to look into my own self. Um, and probably why I chose more past life regression, because though I have tried to learn as many modalities in my my young age, but past life is something that has become very dear to me. And I guess even though I got specialized in diverse modalities of healings and professions, but somehow people always connect to me as a past life regression therapist. Probably because I strongly advocate the powers of the subconscious mind. Probably because I strongly believe that our past plays a major role in our present. And probably if we know if there are right patterns, we'll be able to create a right, prosperous life. If there are wrong patterns, chances are high we'll struggle with certain issues of life. So I'm not saying that we will become perfect by knowing our patterns, but yes, we can change the journey in the way that we are supposed to, which means we are all born on this planet Earth with amazing powers and amazing purposes. Irrespective of the fact, wherever we are born, whichever part of the land that we are born, whichever country that we are born, whichever religion that we are born, but we have an amazing purpose. So the purpose helped me to connect with past lives. So that's how the journey began. So I could rediscover my understanding that my core calling is to mentor and help, and especially empower the lives of women. So probably I think in my entire career, if I look at, I worked with so many helping women from different issues of their lives, different challenges, and probably that so which gave me phenomenal results, and probably at that point of time made me realize that okay, this is my core calling. And till now the journey still continues.
That's really amazing, Navneet. I would also like to ask you that at this time of COVID-19 that we are going through, And of course, we have never even thought of it that we will be going through something like this. At this time, we have so many issues popping up. And how do you want us to heal these issues by healing past life? So please put your knowledge and your wisdom in front of us.
Sure. So I guess it was a very phenomenal and a very powerful question, and probably we are all, in a quest to discover these answers. Well, when I look at COVID as a situation, yes, it's a pandemic which is affecting billions of lives across the world, across regions, and probably it is affecting the way of life that we are living at this point of time. But I always believe it's just a transition phase, which means before COVID-19, we had several viruses, which comes up like 150 years of now. In between, there will be something emerging for sure. And during these transition periods, we as humans, we need to adapt to the changing times. And probably that is the giant leap we always make. If you look back into the journeys of history, whenever any pandemic comes, we realize that it is an opportunity for growth also. I know it becomes, a disastrous journey for many. People are losing lives, and it's really very painful. But there is another side of the story that we often forget. A body gets affected when it loses its faith and hope. A body gets affected with bacteria or viruses when the immunity goes down, irrespective of the fact whether it's a new virus or whether it is an old virus. COVID happens to be a new virus, which is why we don't know how this is going to be mutated or how it's going to change, which is why there is no proper vaccine available and people are under threat. But we often forget this fact that there's a powerful human body which is designed by the universe or by the God, which can withstand any illnesses. And we have seen tremendous times over the years how people survived even medically incurable conditions to it. Which means if there is a host of virus that comes up from outside, our body, our subconscious mind has the power to protect ourselves also. Yes, we might get infected. It's not that we will not get infected or something. We might get infected, but our body knows how to release those toxic viruses or bacteria that has got entered into our space. And it is not that I'm saying that it will only happen through medications. It is not like that. There are cases which gets recovered with the medications, without medications also. Now, medications becomes a booster for us to recover on a little bit faster pace to it. But the cure comes when we have a stronger immunity. And what we need to focus on this COVID times, how to have a stronger immunity, irrespective of the fact whether vaccine comes or doesn't come, because many of the viruses don't have vaccines. If you look at it from a technical medical point of view, very few vaccines are available to it, and we're not looking at bacteria, we are looking at viruses. Bacteria can be recovered, or we can come out of it through antibiotics, but here viruses we generally don't go with that format. So technically that's not what we need to consider or look into. What we need to look into is how we think.
So true. So beautiful. So as you said, that we just need to be very mindful that what are we thinking and how you attracting the situation in life. So that's really powerful. So what is exactly your mission? Are you able to connect your mission at this time of COVID, that the way you have been helping females specifically for all their issues in life? And are you able to do that all even today? Because so many people have been feeling that it's a time and they really need a helping hand or a healer at this time. Of course that you are. So how are you working at this time on your mission?
Well, I guess the challenge has become much more bigger, because when the COVID has come, women's life have become more struggle. The struggle has got increased.
Yeah, I understand.
Recently, I was working with a lot of cases where domestic violence have got, has shot up like anything. And during this point of time, they are not able to express themselves confidently or even to look for a support system. And probably this is the biggest challenge at this point of time, where the women needs to become completely empowered enough so that the patriarchal system doesn't control them. And this is the time they need to be using their rights correctly. This is the time they need to believe in themselves. And perhaps this is the time they need to be more happier than before. Because this is the time, a journey where they can get in touch with the creative self, the creativity, what they are born with. So probably this is the time they can learn new things about life. And probably once this COVID world gets over, it's just a passing phase. It's not that it's a permanent story or something. It
Right.
might take a year or so, but once this COVID world is over, we are ready for a new world. And that's a very beautiful world that we are going to look at it. And when that healed world comes up, they need to be in the next level of ascension.
So
That
true.
transformation should happen during this period of time.
I agree with you. Definitely, whatever you're saying, it's sounding really amazing. I'm even hoping the same. We have another question for you, and this is showing what is your success mantra. I know you have been successful in your career in such a young age. You are just 34 and you're still doing amazing work. And I have been watching you since 2009 and you have been rocking in your career like anything. So what is your success mantra? Do guide us.
So I believe life is a success journey in itself. There are no failures in life, because I believe failures are nothing but stories of fear that we often tell ourselves, probably because of the circumstances that we attract in our lives, probably because of failed expectations. But when we connect to our purpose of life, that is the moment success comes to you. Success marries you. So it's just that you have to be connected with your purpose. हम सबके जिंदगी का एक मकसद जरूर होता है. उस मकसद से जब हम जुड़ जाते हैं तो जिंदगी में अपने आप we will feel successful. And every day is a journey of success, I think.
Navneet, don't you think so? It's so difficult to find out that what is our purpose in life? How should we get it? जो आपने कहा कि हमारी जिंदगी का एक मकसद होता है, it's sounding so filmy. It's a dialogue coming up. And even I am thinking about that movie of a very famous actor that from the previous life he had been thinking, ek din to I'll have this award in my hand and I'll create. कहते ना, you will be the right person to tell me about that Om Shanti Om ka dialogue.
Right.
Please tell me that. I would love to listen it from you.
अगर किसी चीज को पूरे दिल से चाहो तो पूरी कायनात उसे मिलाने की कोशिश में जुट जाती है. So something like that.
Exactly, क्योंकि उसमें भी वही सीन था कि वो पास्ट लाइफ से ही सोचता हुआ आ रहा था, and then that story shows that how he died at that situation, and he was born in a family, and that family was the big shot in film industry, and then of course he was by birth he became an actor. So tell us something about this. Does it really happen in current life as well? Because how this past life story which they have shown, इतने अच्छे से उन्होंने उसे बना के दिखाया, तो क्या ऐसा होता है हमारे आज की लाइफ में? और लोग जो past life से already inspired है, they want to do something like this. What if I have to do something like this? So how past life can answer about it? So we would like to know more about past life, because all my viewers has been waiting for this show from a long time, and we really want to know, and we want to dig upon of this topic, that what exactly past life is, और हम किस तरह से past life को heal करके अपनी destination of life we can achieve, life purpose हम लोग निकाल सकते हैं. प्लीज उस पे आप अपनी रोशनी डालिए.
बिल्कुल. तो अगर हम पास्ट लाइफ की बात करते हैं, अगर सिंपल शब्दों में बात करते हैं, तो पास्ट लाइफ का मतलब हम पिछले जन्म की यात्रा करते हैं. Now, it's a very controversial concept for many people because people come from diverse faiths of life. So diverse religions में अपने अपने customs है, अपने अपने रीति रिवाज हैं, और हम उस परंपराओं में डूबे रहते हैं. तो फिर हमें लगता है कि जो हमारे रिलीजियस बिलीफ सिस्टम्स में कहा है वही सच्चाई है, वही रियलिटी है. लेकिन कहीं ना कहीं इन सभी रिलीजन्स में, दुनिया भर के जितने भी रिलीजन्स हैं, कहीं ना कहीं किसी ना किसी पन्नों में कहीं ना कहीं मेंशन किया है पास्ट लाइफ के बारे में, पिछले जन्म के बारे में. वो भले ही ज्यादा डिटेल हाईलाइट नहीं किया गया, क्योंकि हर एक रिलीजन का एक ऑब्जेक्टिव होता है, एक पर्पस होता है. इस वजह से उसको सेंसर किया जाता है या उसको हटा दिया जाता है. लेकिन अगर हम एक ब्रॉड एनालिसिस करते हैं, तो ऑलमोस्ट ऑल रिलीजन्स अक्रॉस द वर्ल्ड हैव सम एलिमेंट्स ऑफ पास्ट लाइफ. So, and there are various researchers which has actually proven this concept by so many people's, so many doctors, so many healers, so many therapists across, across the universe from diverse walks of life. और हमारे शास्त्रों में भी ये, हम अगर हम हिंदू शास्त्रों की बात करते हैं, अगर हम अपने ही रिलीजन्स की बात करते हैं, भगवत गीता को अगर हम बात करते हैं, श्री कृष्णा की कंप्लीट फिलॉसफी अगर हम समझने की कोशिश करते हैं, तो ऑब्वियसली हमें इस पास्ट लाइफ का जो महत्व है, एक एज ए ह्यूमन कॉन्शियसनेस, हमारी जो एवोल्यूशन है, वो और गहराई से हम समझ सकते हैं. अगर हम थेरेपी की बात करते हैं, पास्ट लाइफ रिग्रेशन थेरेपी की बात करते हैं, कि मान लो कि हमें जिंदगी में कुछ ना कुछ, हमारी लाइफ में कुछ प्रॉब्लम्स चल रही है इस वक्त, और हमने वो सारी लॉजिकल तरीके लगाए, अपनाए, वो सारे तरीके यूज किए, लेकिन फिर भी प्रॉब्लम चल रही, स्टिल कंटिन्यू, व्हिच मींस द स्टोरी इज नॉट अ कॉन्शियस माइंड स्टोरी. चेतन मन की स्टोरी नहीं, वो अवचेतन मन की स्टोरी. अगर अवचेतन मन की स्टोरी है, सबकॉन्शियस माइंड की स्टोरी है, तो हमें ये जानना होगा कि उसका दो तार जुड़ाव है, द कनेक्शन वेयर इट इज कमिंग फ्रॉम, वी नीड टू फिगर इट. And probably we are unconsciously playing those past life karmic baggages, or we are trying to repeat it. It's like playing in the background. Like for instance, I have a yellow wall in the background. मुझे पता नहीं है जब तक मैं पीछे मुड़ के नहीं देखूंगा, लेकिन चलता रहता है till the time I paint it into a different color. So many times even I'm changing the places, changing the people, changing the job, professions, several things, लेकिन प्रॉब्लम्स वही घूमते फिरते वही प्रॉब्लम्स आएंगे, because wall is not changed, the color of the wall is same. So the challenges will be same, and those challenges could be in relationships, could be in profession, could be in areas of life. So what we do in past life, we go back to this wall, which means where is the point of origin, figure it out what went wrong, and we give it a new perspective. जब हमारी नजरिया बदल जाता है, उस पिछले जन्म की उस कहानी को हम जिस तरह से देखना शुरू कर देते हैं, और उस लाइफ से मिली हुई सीख को, मतलब हर एक लाइफ का एक पर्पस होता है, एक मकसद जरूर होता है. सो व्हेन वी स्टार्ट अप्लाइंग दैट विजडम इन आवर करंट लाइफ, जब हम अपने वर्तमान जिंदगी में, जब हम उस विजडम को अप्लाई करते हैं, जो फेलियर वाली विजडम नहीं, जो अप्लाई कर रहे हैं हम फेलियर वाली विजडम को, बट जो वाकई में करना जो चाहिए था उस लाइफ में, उसकी एप्लीकेशन क्या होगी अपनी वर्तमान जिंदगी. That's the moment the destiny starts changing, and then we start accomplishing the goals that we really want in our lives. So there is nothing wrong about it that we are born in a certain family, we got in a relationship with certain people. There's nothing wrong about it, and there is nothing wrong for about ourselves, because we choose to be born on this planet Earth by choosing certain people in our lives, and these people are going to help us to become who we truly are. Maybe they're trying to harm us, or maybe they're trying to love us, whichever scenarios, but we are going to rediscover our true purpose.
So true. So tell me something, as in there was a movie called Curse, Rishi Kapoor ji ki. So that was also a story inspired by something past life was there. So share some inspirational case study which really can inspire us at this time, and how past life has given a transformation, because it is so bookish that laymen will not be able to connect with it. So अगर आप अपना कोई केस हमसे डिस्कस करके या हमें एक्सप्लेन करें एज एन स्टोरी, दैट विल रियली कनेक्ट विद ऑल माय व्यूअर्स. हो सकता है बहुत से लोगों के लिए ये टॉपिक ही बहुत नया हो. सो आई रिक्वेस्ट यू टू कुछ उस बारे में बताएं, थोड़ा सा और
So
डिटेल में करके बताएं कि क्या एक्चुअली ये होता है, एंड दैट कैन हेल्प अस टू नो मोर अबाउट इट फॉर आवर व्यूअर्स.
correct. So I guess over a period of time, I've lost the track of counting how many number of cases I've taken. क्योंकि थाउजेंड से ऊपर जा चुका है तो मुझे पता नहीं चलता कि आप कितने फिगर्स थाउजेंड्स पहुंच गए. So I've lost the track, actually lost the track of counting of number of people whom I have worked so far. But every case that I've taken so far is always new. New का कहने का मतलब है कि something is different, something is new to learn from that particular situation. So it's not the same situation that you're looking at, but you're looking at from a bigger version to it. So I'll narrate a case study where I was working with this person who had issues with infertility, unexplained infertility, जो gynecologists कहते हैं कि you go for an IVF, but there's no guarantee. So, so that's how the medical fraternity gives an explanation, and lakhs of rupees are being spent with no this thing to it. The hospital benefits from it. I don't want to get into a controversy, but that's the only alternative that the doctors have to say. And but at the most, अगर थोड़े बहुत doctors who have been in the West and थोड़ा बहुत वेस्टर्न कंट्रीज में जा चुके हैं और वो थोड़ा बहुत अवेयरनेस है, तो वो कहते हैं हाँ हाँ थोड़ा बहुत डिप्रेशन है, थोड़ा बहुत है, तो आप उस चीज को एड्रेस कर सकते हो, तो क्या पता तो आईवीएफ के लिए थोड़ा सा कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री हो जाएगा. सो दैट्स द काइंड ऑफ स्टेटमेंट्स दे गिव. So this case, when I took it up, so she came to me first of all not for unexplained infertility.
Yeah.
Because obviously people are not aware of it. Obviously why they're coming for a PLR or these sessions and all. She came to me for stating that unko neend puri nahi ho rahi. She has an insomnia, and insomnia is also one of the factors for infertility issues. So which is a medical reason for it. Women who the sleep patterns are affected or sleep is lesser, infertility gets affected big time. So she had a major issue that because obviously she had odd working hours and all, because companies and all she was working. तो जब वो नाइट शिफ्ट से फिर मॉर्निंग शिफ्ट आया तो फिर ऑब्वियसली फिर नेक्स्ट डे का वो it gets disturbed. So, and she was working on the topmost companies. I'm not talking about a very small job or something that I'm talking about, but still their travel frequency and countries and all, that kind of this thing. It's a typical love marriage. The husband and wife, they, I was listening to the stories of their actions and this thing, but lekin abhi wo dono when they came to me, they were a bigger fight and kind of situation. Obviously, it is bound to happen, when they are trying to have a child since a long time and it's not happening, and so much money, emotions, and everything getting affected. So it happens, there is a difference that comes between the couple. So by default, she comes to me for a session, and then she says that insomnia is the only issue which is affecting me big time, and you have to help me out to come out of this insomnia. So even though she gave me a broad history to it, but I did not touch upon the topic of the unexplained infertility, though I said, okay, we will work on the insomnia part to it, so that she regains the faith on the subject of the subconscious mind, because it's perhaps the first experience, and unke office mein kisi psychologist se she might have consulted, unhone kuch acha feedback nahi diya tha, how the science is all about and all those kind of things. So she's already coming with a preconceived notion about the science कि PLR में ऐसा हो सकता है, वैसा हो सकता है. But she had no other options, obviously, क्योंकि सभी चीजें try कर दिया, there is no this thing to it. So when I did, the first session was simply just implanting suggestions and all. She found very, very good after that session. So the next session, she said, okay, I want to actually go for a PLR because the sleep issue got recovered to a great extent. I think within 3 to 4 days, she was able to sleep well and all those kind of things. So this was the first time when we decided, okay, we'll go for a past life. And technically, this is a person who uh, doesn't believe in that much concept of past life. Yes, she's coming from a sick family and all those kind of things, but doesn't, typically respond to it. Obviously, बाहर यूएस वगैरह में रहकर आए तो obviously क्या होता है कि लोगों को थोड़ा सा ऐसा लगता है कि मॉडर्नाइज हो गए, तो फिर हम ऐसा लगता है कि पिछले जन्म की बात कर रहे हैं, तो स्पिरिचुअलिटी की बात कर रहे हैं, all those kind of concepts. So I said, okay, fine. What we will do is we will go into your past life and figure it out why you have attracted a relationship, even though you went for this love marriage, you made an effort, you fought with your family and all those xyz things to and today you feel that this is the worst person in your life. So वो वाली situation है. So we are going to go into your past life and figure it out what actually went wrong. So when we went into the past life, so what she saw was, she saw typically in a relationship with this guy whom she was like literally like baby feeding. What do I mean by that? The husband happens to be one of those lifetimes, a child who was an autistic kind of person. Now he is not autistic, let me tell you, in the current life. Obviously, he is working in a good company and all those kind of things, and at a very senior position and all. But what I meant was, it was like a spoon feeding behavior. Yeah. Now, technically, जब वो spoon feeding kind of behavior जब होता है, तो she feels hurt because he's not that mindful enough to understand her needs, understand her emotions in the most meaningful way. So what we did was, when we went into that past life, that autistic child's life, obviously to uh, obviously the learning experience for her was to be completely accept him as it is, which she did not as a child in that lifetime. Now this lifetime, this guy happens to be the husband. It's a different role reversal which has happened. I mean, it's a different story altogether. I'm not saying it's an incest or something. It's like, we our souls, take birth in different lifetimes. So sometimes we're born as a man, woman, Indians, Africans, Americans. We keep on. Soul doesn't have a gender to it by saying that, oh, it's not a female soul, that's a male soul. It's a body that we take birth to. But that was the learning of that lifetime. उस लाइफ का लर्निंग ये था कि जो भी मेरे लाइफ में है, जो मेरी लाइफ में जो बहुत करीब है, उसको मैं as it is accept करूं. Acceptance was something which was missing for her in the beginning. And in this lifetime, so for that to happen, I had to cut the codes what she had established, क्योंकि वो subconsciously वो autistic वाले जो बच्चे वाली thought उनके mind में है जब भी वो husband को देखते हैं. मतलब subconsciously, not I'm saying consciously. Okay. So every time she reacts to him, she will definitely feel कि इसको कुछ समझ में नहीं आएगा. Oh. जो मैं कहना चाहती हूँ या उसको उसकी जो गहराई है उसके डेप्थ को वो समझ नहीं पाए. So when I decided to cut the codes and this things, with gradually, I'm not saying within one day, gradually there was an improvement in the conversations that they had. And the case which was happened to go for a divorce, because they had actually filed a divorce, the divorce did not happen. Obviously, divorce for several reasons, conception not happening, and even if it is happening, the abortion is happening, all those kind of things. But what I meant to say is, I know even the in-laws interference and all those kind of so many XYZ issues too. But gradually, within a 2 weeks' time, I think 14 days or something, there was an improvement in both of their talks. And even then, the husband also went for a PLR and stuff like that. And then for him, he could. What was the beauty of that? He actually went into the same lifetime as the autistic child. had it been a different lifetime, we could have still say कि हाँ, you know, mind का जो imagination है, all those kind of things. And the husband was not even aware of the story, what she had experienced. And literally, I could cross-check what the wife had gone through and what the husband had gone through. So the husband was not even prepared for the come for the first session or something was like that in the beginning or something. But when he observed there's a change in the home, he himself wanted that, inside, oh yes, I wanted to bring a change in my home. So that brought him. And when he came and when he got regressed, he actually went into the same life. So obviously the cord cutting there also had to be done for him to feel that he is like autistic kind of, he feeling that I'll not be able to understand my wife's needs. Even though I do my best, I feel helpless. So that helplessness had to be, you know, disconnected, that energy of helplessness. And when we did that, the relationship improved. And now the couple has children. I think there are 2 children right now. I guess they are settled in the US, I guess now. So I guess there is a shift which has come. Obviously the doctors who were saying that IVF se hi hoga, lekin bagair IVF se hoga. So it's not like that. So technically that's how the miraculous things that happens with past life work. And I guess this is not only IVF cases that I've worked with so many IVF issues and all. And apart from that, there are medical issues and there are relationship dynamics that gets affected. So that's how past life works. This was the one single case that we just discussed.
नवनीत, हम लोग हीलर हैं, हमें पता है कॉर्ड कटिंग क्या होता है, but I have so many viewers. My whole Facebook account is more than 5,000 people now, so they don't know cord cutting क्या है. So what is this रस्सी खशी? ये कुछ explain करो आप.
Okay. So basically, अगर हम कोड कटिंग को थोड़ा सा स्पिरिचुअल लैंग्वेज में समझने की कोशिश करते हैं, तो हम सब, हमारे भीतर एक ऊर्जा होती है, एक एनर्जी होती है, जिससे हम लोगों से जुड़ जाते हैं, कनेक्ट होते हैं, एक पॉजिटिव वाइब्स फील करते हैं किसी के साथ नेगेटिव वाइब्स फील, किसी के साथ अटैचमेंट फील करते हैं, किसी के साथ डिस्कनेक्ट फील करते हैं, या कभी-कभी ओवर अटैचमेंट फील करते हैं. And sometimes the other people starts hijacking our lives.
So true.
तो वही रिलेशनशिप वर्कआउट कर सकती है जो एक सिमिलर वेवलेंथ में चलती है. एनर्जी सिग्नेचर्स कीप्स ऑन चेंजिंग थ्रू आउट द लाइफ टाइम्स. दैट्स ट्रू कि हमारी जो 10 साल पहले की जो थॉट प्रोसेस थी मे नॉट बी सिमिलर एट दिस पॉइंट ऑफ टाइम. 10 years आगे की जो थॉट प्रोसेस होगी वो भी सिमिलर हो सकती है, नहीं भी हो सकती. बट जो कंसिस्टेंसी जो मेंटेन करनी होती है, उसके लिए जरूरी होता है कि द पर्सन नीड्स टू बी इन द सेम सिमिलर वेवलेंथ. अगर नहीं है, which means either there needs to be a disconnect that needs to happen. Now that disconnect is not a physical disconnect कि आप कह रहे हो कि उसको ऊपर ही भेज दो. not like that. Disconnect is the mental disconnect for your own safety, for your own security, because you don't want to get consumed by other person's toxic impressions or toxic way of thinking. You don't want to feel suffocated by the other person's presence. कभी-कभी क्या होता है कि कुछ लोग हमारे इतने करीब होते हैं कि घुटन बन जाती है कुछ लोग. तो वो घुटन ना बने, तो जरूरी होता है कि उनकी जो वाइब्स हैं, उनकी जो एनर्जी है, जो हमें बार-बार कनेक्ट कर रही है, तो उसको डिस्कनेक्ट करने से काफी हद तक वी विल फाइंड दैट मेंटल पीस. और कभी-कभी ये जो कनेक्ट जो होता है, सिर्फ प्रेजेंट लाइफ से जुड़ा नहीं होता, लाइफ टाइम से चल के आ रही है. और जिस वजह से हम चाहकर भी हम वो कनेक्ट ब्रेक नहीं कर पाते, और हम बार उसी पेन को एक्सपीरियंस करते रहते हैं उस पर्टिकुलर इंडिविजुअल के साथ या उन लोगों के साथ या उस सोल ग्रुप के साथ. तो कोड कटिंग का ये मकसद होता है कि हम वो एनर्जी जो मिसअलाइंड है, जो आपके लिए अच्छी नहीं है, जो आपके लिए हार्मफुल है, उसको हम प्रेजेंट फ्यूचर और लाइफ बिटवीन से उस एनर्जी कोड को आपसे कनेक्ट होने से हम रोकते हैं. दैट इज द होल पर्पस in the most simplest words.
Thank you so much for explaining it. एंड आई वांट आपका जो एक केस था जिसके लिए आप स्पेशली फ्लाई करके जाते थे, यू यूज्ड टू गो यू नो सम साउथ इंडिया and you had that the people were just about to get separated and you did a magic thing with them. So I would request you if you can share some case like that, like when they are on the urge to get separation,
Closed.
and how
Okay.
past life regression helped them to come together back. Any of
See,
your case?
yeah. So, see, I have, over the period of time, North India, South India, international levels, and people have the same issues. The issue is comes with love. So love sometimes becomes very complicated. And when we say complicated means there are different reasons for complications. Complications comes from mismatch of expectations, communication errors, and the communication errors comes primarily because of loss of respect. And one of the cases which I was working to it, where both the couples are highly educated, working in a very, very highly prestigious positions to it, and technically they were having everything. I'm saying that from a materialistic point of view, things are fine. That much financial crisis or something or the other that is not existing. But the expectations from each other was different. Like for instance, the husband typically wants his wife. It's not restricting. I mean, just like I'm not saying that he, in a today's modern world, some men appears to be very cosmopolitan from the outside, but deep down inside, they are still in the dark ages. I'm sorry to say. I mean, there are some men who are completely in those dark ages, who expects the typical, roles of the woman. Now, obviously, they don't want to reflect it on the outside because there is an image they portray in the society. Obviously, the wife is working and all those kind of things. But technically, deep down, the ego goes into the back of the mind. Now, this is that kind of case which I was taking. And during that point of time, when this ego issue comes up, now this ego issue is not that कि same profession में होंगे तो भाई ego issues होगा. There are absolutely different professions. उनका मतलब there is no actually when we say that कि कहीं ना कहीं से कि connect होगा something like that. The two different industries. When you're talking about, one could be extremely in the banking industry, the other person who is in a completely where we're talking about real estates and something entirely different kind of profession, which मतलब एक दूसरे से connect नहीं होगा, मतलब that's kind of, but I'm saying of a typical arranged marriage kind of setup. But when I look into this, uh, when the belief systems are very rigid, where you're coming with, you want to just complete, bring forth your legacy that your parents have taught you, the previous generation have taught you. And if you are looking forward to bring that, sometimes it may not work because every other person will not be exactly the same. Obviously, the girl whom that person got married was not a typical person, like every female in the other females in the home or something like that. Now, when that happened, the issues began, the fights began, and to the extent the children also got involved into the story because obviously uh, the children were not understanding because they don't know which side ko kis side pe support karna. So because the child will look and say ki father is right, sometimes the child will look the mother is right. So the child is actually oscillating from both the sides. Now the child will actually stick who is financially more secure. अब इस केस में दोनों secured है. Now, now the sometimes the when these kind of situations happen, sometimes children also become very over smart because they are getting privileges from both the sides.
Yeah.
Technically, the father wants the child to be with this thing. Though the father makes sure he mother is shown in a very dark kind of thing. The mother will also do that. Now the child takes both the privileges, materialistic privileges from both the sides. So that kind of struggles. Now what happens? I'm not concerned about that, what the child is, because I was not going there for a child counseling or something like that. I was going for a couples counseling. So obviously couples relationship problems and PLR and stuff like that. So technically, what my focus was at that point of time, what was the differences what they had experienced? The difference what they had experienced was the respect between them had been lost. So if the respect is missing, it will never become functional.
Yeah.
So first and the primary thing what PLR can benefit is going back to the source. The respect kahan khoya? What is the reason that the partner is not able to respect the other person? So when I regress this lady into her past life, now that lifetime, what she had seen, now this guy who happens to be the so-called husband in the current lifetime, who happens to be the ultra modern cosmopolitan person, showing the world that things are fine. So when this guy, when she regressed into her past life, she saw him that she was going into that dark ages and that period of time in the middle, European countries, and at that point of time, where he happens to be that knight, who comes with a sword and all this, that the warrior guys and all this kind of thing. Seems to be very, Shakespearean kind of era and all this kind of things. But what I could see in that point of time, this guy was in a relationship with this woman and had promised her that he will marry her. But he did not, because he was having a wife and family and other stuff like that, and she kept on waiting. So the entire journey, and there's nothing exciting or fighting ऐसा कुछ नहीं है इस story में. PLR is very simple. I mean, it's not that every past life will be so out of the blue, dashing past lives, action होगा, fight होगा, romance इतना exceeding level पे होगा. Not like that. It's a simple past life. But that simple past life had a very deeper meaning, because when you experience that past life, you are experiencing at a very deeper level. Now in that past life, what she had witnessed was something which was very profound. That in that entire story, self-respect was lost. And she was making herself treated in such a way where she was losing her own identity. She was connecting her identity with that man, with that knight or that warrior or that person. So the wisdom from that lifetime was basically that she was not supposed to do that. She was supposed to find her own identity and her own self. I know that was a European era, was entirely different, where women were exploited or affected in several films and several ways to it. I know that it was a dark ages during that point of time, but still there were women who outshined during that point of time also. So she did not connect with her true feminine essence at the point of time. The wisdom at that point of time was to feel respected by her own self. So when she got that wisdom that she will not tolerate any kind of abuses in the current life also, but she will not tolerate doesn't mean that she will not get into a fight. Tolerate means she will fight it with dignity, not physical fights or shouting and all those kind of things, not that way. When she did that, the change happened. because then it made very clear to the in-laws and her family that this is what she can do, this is what she will not tolerate, and she is not ready. And she very categorically made it very clear that she will not, want to get into a fight or something or the other. But if this is not protocol is not maintained, the story stands still. End of the story. So when she made that statement, the end of the story did not happen. This was a gradual shift in the husband's behavior towards her. I'm not saying you would 360-degree change aa gaya, but at least the family became functional enough. So the functionality was achieved during this entire process.
ब्यूटिफुल. सो हमारी भावनाओं में भी चेंज आ जाता है एक दूसरे के प्रति, हमारे इमोशंस चेंज हो जाते हैं और हम एटलीस्ट उस लेवल पे आ जाते हैं कि एक साथ रह सके और परिवार को आगे बढ़ा सके. Isn't it? If I got you correct.
True. Very true.
इसके साथ साथ मेरे पास एक और क्वेश्चन है नवनीत. जैसे आप आजकल कोविड को देख के भी काफी सारे मेरे पास कॉल्स आते हैं. लॉट ऑफ फीमेल्स आर कॉलिंग दैट सिचुएशन इज बिकमिंग वर्स घर पे और कम्युनिकेशन गैप बनता जा रहा है. कुछ फैमिलीज हैं जो बहुत खुश है इस टाइम पे भी कि यस हम लोग ऑपरेट कर रहे हैं घर से, पर कुछ फैमिली के लिए बहुत डिफिकल्ट होता जा रहा है. So can you suggest them some wisdom, कोई ऐसा मंत्रा जो वो अप्लाई कर सके एंड एटलीस्ट इस समय उनके घर में थोड़ी शांति रह सके?
See, when we talk about family, every family is different. Okay. And every family has its own challenges and difficult people. Could be in-laws, could be husband himself, could be could be children, could be father-in-law, could be mother-in-law. The list goes on. If it is a big joint family, there are set of another big adventures, with the sister-in-law and all other people who are having their own expectations or needs to it.
Yeah.
And during the lockdown, everybody's expectation goes up. And obviously, the young bride who is there in the family will be the first target to be the scapegoat. Or maybe because of her, this is happening and all those kind of things. Is the opinions or the easy target happens to some of the families too. So, what do they need to do at this point of time? First of all, during this point of time, it's a very sensitive period where divorces can happen very fast. And technically, this is happening because I was, for the last couple of weeks when I was taking cases, almost all cases that I was looking at was purely of domestic violence cases. And to the extent, I had to speak to the husband, the families, and in-laws, and all those, the women who had approached for sessions and all kind of things. And the mindset at this point of time is that people don't want to make a fuss, especially they think that they have got some kind of opportunity to create mess or something like that, to all those kind of things. So at this point of time, what a woman should do at this point of time? Point number one, they should know their rights. Domestic violence should not be tolerated at any point of time. And during this COVID time, it is pretty much on the higher rate. And if any violence is tolerated, that is not ethically, morally, or legally correct. If she's aware of her rights, nobody can touch her. That's for sure. But if she's not aware of her rights, by thinking that these are those so-called family members who love me so much, so then that's a disaster, which she's inviting for herself. Okay? That disaster should not happen. That's point number one. If she draws the boundaries correctly, nothing can go wrong. Point number two, don't play the scapegoat or victim role. Because if she plays the victim role, chances are higher the family members will make her feel more victim, make her feel more victimized. Do her best what she can at that point of time. And if possible, if what she can't do at that point of time, say of habit, she needs to develop a habit of saying no, and which I guess many women don't have. That needs to be developed. So
Oh,
these are the three things that they need to keep in mind.
so amazing, and feeling so much empowered by listening your magical words that yes, we should follow the norms, that yes, we have some rights and we should even feel empowered with that, that we should have that knowledge to use them as well. So thank you so much, Navneeth, for taking your time out for us and giving this explanation, and heartfelt gratitude for being in our show. And it is always amazing to stay connected with you and take wisdom from you.
Thank
So,
you.
and thank you so much from all my viewers who have been watching you. And if I receive any of the message that how we can connect you, I would request you please speak out your number, or I'll put it in the link if you allow me.
Yeah, you can put in the link. Sure.
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for giving your time. And we'll keep inviting you, because the kind of information you have given, I'm sure a lot of women going to approach you for a lot of issues that they have been facing and they had with their physical body, mental body, as well as their relationship. So thank you so much. With all the grace of divine, may you prosper the way you always has been. May you grow and multiply all your clients. Thank you so much.